Hello everyone, we are just live. We will wait for another minute to let everyone join. Please share with your friends and ask them to join. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the fourth session of this course, the last one for the classes. But we have a one surprise for you guys. We will share it in the end. Stay tuned. Okay, so, as you know, the topic is control collapse, and today's speaker is Dr. Agnibha Datta. Let me quickly introduce him to you guys. Dr. Agnibha Datta, Akka Yogi. He's a doctor turned security enthusiast, right now serving as the virtual chief information security officer in Arthurus AI. And stats, he has secured more than 150 companies, and his expertise includes cloud security, API security, AI securities. And today he will be sharing his insights on the control collapse. And we hope you like the session. And guys, if you are facing any issues with the labs, please let the admins know before time. And okay, that's it. Over to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you, John. Uh, so we'll be starting our class, and today we'll be talking on and we'll be seeing on advanced recon and some of the bugs category like how to look for logic bugs and mostly business logic and also how to look for other issues. Okay, so let's start our session. So I think already my introduction is still given. So I am not repeating it. You can see, and also you can refer to my LinkedIn and my Twitter, which is given at the bottom. So I know you guys are already acquainted with the basic recon because you had already a previous session of what is recon. But still, as this session is focused on also some advanced recon topic, some of the topic which is beyond like the traditional recon, something which you might have missed in the normal recon. Like when you are hunting, when you are searching for vulnerabilities, whether in the pen test or whether when you are doing bug bounty, things are not always very pretty easy forward. Like whatever you are doing, 8,000 other persons are also doing the same thing, right? So you need to make a difference if you are thinking if you want to find a valid bug. So our session will be mainly on looking for those edge cases bugs. Like after you hunt for subdomain, after you gather subdomain, after you take find all of the URLs and all, what are the things you are not doing which you can do and you can enhance the vulnerability. Also, we'll see some of the things in some of the sites. Okay, so no issues. So just to give a brief idea of what is recon again. So recon is one of the most important aspects when it's come to security, whether it's penetration testing or your bug bounty hunting. So not only it helps to increase a complete attack surface area, and it will actually allow you to get more vulnerabilities. So most of the information disclosure vulnerabilities which you generally see are actually come from the recon in the recon stage. Okay, so all of the traditional hunters and all of the big names in the work founder industry, you will see they always hunt for some information disclosure vulnerabilities, and all of the vulnerabilities actually come during the recon stage. So when you talk about the recon, we mean increase in the attack surface area. So the more attack surface area, we will have more chance of finding vulnerabilities. With the recon, we will get to find some untouched endpoint. So there is a lesser chance of getting duplicate. As when we report any bug, we know there is a high chance of getting a duplicate and it gives us depression, right? So we need to avoid that too. So as Abraham Lincoln has said, if I have 5 hours to chop a tree, I will spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. So we need to sharpen our axe before recon. That means we need to increase our attack surface area before actually hunting the bug. So that at the end of the day, we can actually get at least one valid, even if we are doing working on a program, so that we don't get to disappoint with zero bugs. Right? Now, basic subdomain enumeration you have already seen. I think in the previous three sessions there is already a class on basic subdomain enumeration, and you have and the session was beautifully conducted. So you know what is subdomain enumeration. So I'm not going to repeat it. But what I am going to show you is the visual recon. Like you have used AMAS, you use lot of tools, subdomain finder. Okay, there are a lot of tools you guys use for subdomain enumeration. But what thing you are not doing before directly going into the subdomain enumeration is to check which of the sites have Cloudflare, which of the sites doesn't have Cloudflare, or at least you can have a basic idea before going into the command line to use AMAS or any other tool. You can have an average idea of how many subdomain might be there. So for that reason, one of the tool is the subdomain finder. Okay, so I will just use this find this tool, subdomain finder 399. This is the tool. Okay, now if I search for, let's say, what can I say? Um, Tesla.com, and it will give out all of the subdomains, right? So this will give a visual subdomain. Okay, and you can also get on what are the IPs which are associated of each of them. So if you can go to the all below, you can get an idea that there are too many subdomains are there. So you will automatically get to know that this scope is too much big. Okay. Similarly, if we say something like, let's say if I say, let's say, Zomato.com. Okay. We will get some of the subdomains of Zomato.com. Now, Zomato.com is not that big as Tesla. So we can also get an idea that average time it will take. Now, this is for the visual recon. Before actually getting all the subdomains in the form of with the help of AMAS or any other tool you are using, you need to have an idea which are there. Now, what I told is the differentiation of Cloudflare. So you can see this particular IP is hosted on Cloudflare. Actually, it is yellow in color, and these are not. Means it is somehow hosted in the there are other CDN which is involved. So that means you can actually try to check for application level DOS, even network level DOS, if it is like not out of scope. Generally, in pen of pentest, not in bug bounty, they are out of scope generally. Okay, but in pentest, they are not out of scope. So when you are working on pentest on your target, so you can get an average idea of which the subdomains are in protected by Cloudflare and which of the subdomains are not protected by Cloudflare. So this will give an accurate idea. So this is the visual recon what I am telling about. So from subdomain dot finder we get one idea of how many FRS subdomain could be there. Like we can get an idea of how big our
Excuse
scope
me,
is
sir.
first. Hello,
Uh,
yeah.
Sir, the voice is muffling a bit. There's an issue with the voice.
Uh, just a minute.
You can just disconnect and connect it again.
Okay.
Am I audible now properly?
Yeah, better.
Okay, just okay. Am I audible now properly?
Yes, sir. Now it's like good.
Okay, I think it's due to the speaker. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So as I was telling that the subdomain finder.c9.nl help to differentiate you in the two things. First of all, it will give an idea of how big your scope is, and second, it will give an idea of which are in the Cloudflare and which domains are not in the Cloudflare. So that kind of differentiation you get to know from the subdomain finder. I think this is something you got. Now, next about VirusTotal. We'll have a separate section on VirusTotal, how we can abuse VirusTotal for different purposes. But before that, some of the ways what we can try to find vulnerability also, like try to increase our subdomain, like crt.sh. Like you use lot of other tool like Subfinder, but have you tried to use crt.sh? I guess no. Uh, so I will say, I think crt.sh is right now down. Okay, no issue. I will try it in another way. Okay, CRT certificate.sh is kindly right now down. So no issues. We can use other purposes. Like we have security trails. Okay, so security trails is another site which we can use for finding different kind of subdomains of our target. Now this is also one of the important domain which people generally don't use. But security trails can actually give you a lot of idea. Like we often use alien vault OTX for our purposes, but security trails actually can give you a lot of your subdomain information. So if you have an API key, you can just use security trails, and particularly this particular URL, you can take a screenshot, or later I will share the whole PDF to find your target. Also, we will see later how we can use Shodan to also increase our scope. Anyway, so basic subdomain enumeration, I think you have all know. I have just given you some of the extra points. Now, this is the important thing what you generally don't people have covered is subdomain of subdomain enumeration. Like you have pretty much know all of the recon, and this is one of the thing that separates a normal person or a normal hunter from a popular hunter. Okay, so let's say you have gathered some subdomains and you have stored all of this in known as subdomains.txt. After that, you have to use subroot or all DNS. As you can see, there is a subdomains.txt, and in the screenshot, I have used all DNS. Okay, and after that, I have given all the subdomains which are previously collected from my target, and I have again find the subdomain of the subdomain. So if my target is xyz.com, and from the subdomain finder, Amas, and all other tools, or subz, I have gathered subdomain like abc.xyz.com. Now I will find something known as pqr.xyz, sorry, pqr.abc.xyz.com. So our original target is xyz.com, and from normal subdomain enumeration, we have got there a subdomain which is known as xyz, sorry, abc.xyz.com. And now we will able to get something known as pqr.abc.xyz.com. So that is known as the subdomain of subdomain enumeration. and you can use subroot and all DNS for that purposes, and that thing will actually going to make some difference. Now this is something you already have know about GitHub dorking, right? That is pretty much everything everyone know. But what is source graph dorking? That is the thing most people don't know, and I want to let everyone know what is source graph and how you can use it. So I will use what is source graph. Now, before we need to know what is source graph and how we can use it. So source graph is nothing. It's just a superior code search. Whatever you do with the normal GitHub dorking, GitHub search, we can do much more with the help of source graph code search. Okay. Now, normal GitHub has some limitation, like most of the function you don't see in the GitHub code search. But source graph is actually a much more powerful code search and intelligence platform. Okay, so why we can use Sourcegraph is better than GitHub for bug hunting. So one is it is like fast and we can do a large scale searches, unlike GitHub, which generally gives you rate limit after few searches. Okay, second, here the reject power is much more, so you can use much more advanced query power, and we can use much more complex pattern. There are much more Boolean operators in there. There are much more cross repositories. So here the repository is not only from GitHub and also from the Git labs. Okay, so you don't have to do the separate hunting on dorking on both GitHubs and GitLab. You can do only one. So that is also another big advantage. Now let's give an example how we can use this particular platform. So I will go to search. Here you can search for password. The same thing you do in GitHub, but here you will get much more responses. You can compare, you can open this sourcegraph.com and you can open GitHub. You can use the same query in both and you will see the result. Okay. Just like GitHub, you can use anything like password. Apart from, you can use password also. Okay, and you can try to search if you get any kind of password in the repositories. Okay, let's say if I want to find open API key. Okay, so let's try to find open API key. I don't know. We have some API key, might be open API key environmental variable. If you open this account, okay, we don't have. This is an environmental variable it is showing. So just like that, you can check all of the repositories. You might be getting something. So you can see also. The best thing about the source graph is you can see a separate category of AI tools where you can try to search. Now these things are much more important. You don't get this thing in GitHub, right? So you can see there is something codex is there. So there might be some part where it might be leaked. I am not clicking on this repository because some API key might get leaked and I don't want to show them accidentally in the live class because it might create some, some issues, some legal issues. So I'm not going default. So you can go and click on that personally and want to check for these things. Okay. So we can also try to experiment with different kind of, like queries. We can use like lang equal to language. If you want to filter anything, this is the context equal to global, right? If we want to filter, like let's say this is something you can see, right? If you want to filter, you can use PW, you can use password key, you can use secret key, API keys, client secret, anything. Also, if you want to filter using any other choice, you can also do that. There is no issues with it. Okay. So basically, what I mean, let's just close it and I will try to show something like file path that will be getter. So we can, if we want to search for any file path, then we can say something like this. And we want to search for this kind of variable. And here we can see we will, for file path, we can get so many results. If we don't use the underscore and just type file path, we have got so much result. So we might have got some important file path. So now before that, if we give some target, let's say what target we give, let's give some Tesla. Okay. Then we might get something related to Tesla, you can see. So we can, in this way, we can search for Tesla's repository to look for any kind of password disclosure, any kind of like internal path is there or not, or kind of vulnerabilities like that. So you can use code search in this a lot of way to find for different kind of vulnerability, like the source graph. Okay. So that's about the source graph. Now, also we need to learn how to broaden our scope, because when we talk about our target, we need to go really big. Like when you are hunting on target, let's say Sony. Have you seen the program of Sony on Hackathon? What it is written in the Hackathon, let's say on the Sony Hackathon scope. If you see, it is written all assets of Sony actually. Security vulnerability, yeah, you can see security vulnerability that are identified in Sony product or in website, domain owned, operated or controlled by Sony. So that means anything which is owned by the Sony. So Sony has a big huge scope, like the huge large scope, right? So for a scope like that, you need to know what are the things, which are the company which is recently acquired by Sony. Like Google, same thing is like hunting for Google. Like if you try to find something in 2026 in the main Sony domain, or in the top subdomain of Sony, you might not get any important bugs. But you can get some sure bugs if you try to find in some of the acquisition of Sony. So how can you find acquisition? Like what source we will get? So for that reason, we can try to find in the Crunchbase. Now, what is Crunchbase? Crunchbase gives a profiling of your company. Okay. So if you go to Crunchbase and search, I have to verify I am a human. Okay, I think I need to change. I need to search in a different operator. Let me just reshare this screen to a different part. I think you can see it. So if we go to acquisition, then we can see these are the company. Okay. So you can see Azure Robot Intelligence got acquired by Meta. So these are the thing, like tomorrow is got acquired by OpenAI deployment company. So if you hunt anything on Azure Robot Intelligence and if you got a valid bug, you can report it to Meta bug bounty. Okay. So whatever the whole scope of Assured Robot Intelligence is also applicable for Meta. But you need to check one thing, that always there is a 6 month to 1 year cool phase. So if you report anything in between the 6 months, generally it will be considered as not valid, because every company has this window period to make all of their acquisition completely into themselves, to test those also themselves. So make sure you, when you take a subscription of the Crunchbase, you will get a idea, like it will give you full details, like when it is acquired. So anything greater than 6 month acquisition, you can try to hunt. So I wanted to search for Sony, right? Hasn't Sony did something? Okay, Sony Group Corporation. Let's see. This is the Sony. Sub-organization. Okay, so this is, you can see there is a sub-organization named Aniplex, right? So we can try to hunt anything on Aniplex and we can report it to Sony. So that is something you also need to know. Okay. Now you can also register here to get more information about like what are the recent acquisition of Sony, and based on the anything which has been any company which is acquired by Sony in the last 6 months, you can try to find those. So that's how you can increase your scope with the help of Crunchbase. Next, we also have something known as bgp.ag.net. So not only if you are hunting on in a big scope, we are not only targeting the subdomain, we also need to know what are the IPs which are associated with our target. So now if I do Sony and search, we will get few ASN. Now before coming to the ASN, we can see these IPs. So all of these IPs are acquired by Sony. So if we get let's click on this one. So this is a /24 IP address. So all the IP address which belong to 94.102.24.0 to 24, all of the IP address in this range are actually owned by Sony Interactive European Limited. So you can get so many IPs from there, right? And you can try to find vulnerabilities in all those IPs. Okay, and all will be considered as valid vulnerability by Sony. So this is how you increase your target. Now here are, you can see there are so much IPs are there, and you can try to find vulnerabilities in any one of them. There are so much vulnerabilities, so much IPs, right? Now before here you can see something known as ASN. Okay, now what is ASN? What do we do with ASN? So what is ASN? ASN is nothing but autonomous system number. So it's, you can think of, so autonomous system is nothing but a large network or a group of network under a single administrative domain. So here the administrative domain is Sony, and all these numbers like ASN 9619, ASN 5591, all this autonomic system number has a lot number of IP address. So what are the IP address we can find from this particular like ASN 62753? Is there any way we can know? Yes. So there is a tool known as ASN map by Project Discovery. We can use this tool. So I am coming to my Kali and I am sharing that screen also. So before that, you just note the AS9619 is my target. Okay, AS9619. Remember the name. Now I am sharing my screen to my Kali machine. And here I will use ASN map. Now, how to use ASN map? So as I told, ASN map already has a repository. You can check it. But first of all, in order to find what are the IPs associated with a particular ASN, you can simply say ASN map -A, followed by the ASN which we copied from Sony is AS9619. So we'll give AS9619, and I can give a, like something minus silent flag. Okay, ASN map not found. I think I need to export path.
Sir, please zoom a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
Please zoom a little bit.
Okay, zoom. Let me just check. Okay, ASN map is there. So I need to export the path. Just a second. Mm. Now we will use the same. Now we can see all of these IPs. So just for one ACE 9619, we can see we have got so much of the IP range. And all of the IP range here actually belong to Sony. So if we find any one vulnerability in among all of this IP, we'll get a reward from Sony. Sony gives us swag actually. You can get that. So this is one. Similarly, if we just come back to our part, where we are, or I need to just move it. Isn't there an option to move the screen? Just okay, this is the option. Here you can see. So another ASN, let's choose like AS 18182, which actually belong to Taiwan network. So I am going to choose this one, and I will just copy it. And once again, I will come to share. So here I will change the ASN number. And from AS18552, we have got another range of IP where we can try to find the vulnerabilities. Okay, now there are a lot of automation. Like from here, you can use Nabu. Okay, Nabu is actually a port scanner. With the help of port scanner, you can give this range to Nabu, and Nabu will find all of the IPs in the range, and you can get all of the IPs, and then you can find vulnerabilities, or you can directly pipe it to further automation. Like you can find if there is any open port out there in this particular vulnerabilities, right? So you can make a easily scope around this. But anything, this is not a class of how to create automation. You already had a session related to it. I think Sir has told you like how to make this automation kind of thing, how to create pipelines, right? So these are the things of what I told people generally miss while hunting for things. Now, similarly, there are a lot of other tools also, which I often see people generally miss those things, but which are actually very much essential. Like you can also check out to tools.whoisxmlapi.com and also whois.arin.net. Okay. Next is this one. Now, when we generally what we do after gathering subdomains, after finding all of this, we try to get the URLs, right? From webback URLs, GOW, all of the tools we generally use to find all of the URLs of our target, let's say xyz.com. But do we care to check any files which will have drives, which will have docs, or which will have spreadsheet or documents? So this is something you also try to do. After you collect all of the subdomains, okay, after you collect all of the subdomain from subdomain finder, and after that you will run GOW, or you will run webback URL, or you will write Katana, any tool you have used on those subdomain to find all of the URLs. After getting all of the URL, try to search for grep drive.google or docs.google or spreadsheet. And if you get something like this, drive.google, you might will find like a company's Google Drive, some of the link might get exposed. Okay. And that thing can be a game changer. That Google Drive might contain some information like PI information, which is not in the public, and it came out in the public. Okay. I have also create a kung fu command, a one-liner for it. Like after getting all of the domains, you can directly use this particular command to get any kind of drive.file or document.file or on a spreadsheet, anything. Okay, so this is the command. So after getting the subdomains, you put all of the subdomains in a txt. After that, on this subdomains, you can run Katana, and then this is the regex command. Okay, so this is something which you can use, and this will give you some edge case advantage. Now, basic Shodan, I think that is also been told to you. But you already have classes on how to use Shodan, right? on the recon class. But what I will try to say, includes these particular docs like ssltarget.com, okay, on dashboard. This will give you unauthenticated dashboard. If you are using this particular doc, this will give you some unauthenticated Jenkins server. If you use this, this will give you if any port number 21 is open, okay, on your target. If you want to check for any CV, you can use this dot. So these dots are important basically. So you can, there are a lot of Shodan dots which are available. Okay. Let me just check Shodan dots. GitHub bug hunting. I'll show you. Yeah. So let me share it. You can see. These are a lot of Shodan docs that they are specifically for bug hunting. So you can use all of these docs on Shodan to increase your niche. So everyone is using Shodan. Everyone is doing, like, at least, like, not everyone, but I will say like 30% of the bug hunters are doing. But what is making someone different from other is checking this particular thing. Is using all of these Shodan docs. Okay, and that will actually give you the edge case in finding a valid bug. Let's come back. Yeah. Next is fuzzing. I think everyone knows about basic fuzzing, right? Like if you generally use different application for fuzzing, like you have used directory busting, okay, dir buster, go buster, okay, ferox buster. There are a lot of busters is coming around, but I personally like FUF, FFUF, okay, or someone calls it FPUF, FUF, whatever you like to call. You can see this. Okay, it is for, you will get this on GitHub, and generally we can use it for fuzzing for any sensitive directories on our target. And this fuzzing is something people generally try to skip it in doing recon, but it is, I feel it is very much important. It's more important than getting subdomains, because you will actually get more chance of finding an actual vulnerability when you are doing fuzzing, right? And this is one dork. Take care of this dork actually. Sorry, not dork. This is actually a one-liner. After you getting the host, like after the URLs or subdomains, whatever you are having, just use this particular dork in it. Replace the cat host.txt with your files, whatever URLs is there, and try to use the word list which you have. Okay. This will give you a lot of things. And if you are getting any SQL error, okay, like if after recon you are getting that your target is running some SQL, might be in the database, always fast for wp content debug.log. As you can see in the screenshot, you have seen there is a database error is been caught. So that means a confirmed SQL injection is there. Also, there is a write-up if swapping for recon, okay, which you can refer. When I will give you this PDF, you will get to see this. Now, basic fuzzing using FFUP, everyone is doing. But what not, you can be different with the use of FFUP AI, and that is something you are here today. Okay, so what is FFUP AI? I am showing you. And for this thing, you basically will be need something Anthropic API key, or you will be needing a OpenAI API key for this purpose. But trust me, it is worth. So this is the FFUP AI. So what is the difference with FUP is all the extension, like if you are fuzzing for anything, like let's say you are fuzzing an endpoint and you don't actually know which of the word list which of the actual words are important from the word list. So it will do this automatically by using the OpenAI API key or Anthropic API key. So that's the advantage of FUF AI. Okay, so this is something you can use. It's the same, it's of WAP, but it's just a wrapper around it's just FUF wrapper around AI. And this will give you much more positive result. So the chances of getting false positive with FUF AI is comparatively less in comparison to normal FUF. So that's why it is much more important. Okay, so let's come back. Next is the another tool which is known as the Fuzuli. Now, if you want to find any backup files, okay, like backup.zip, source.zip, admin.zip, you can use this. Now, I will show you how you can use this file. So let me just come to my Kali VM. And first of all, you need to install Fuzuli from the part where I give you. Okay, so let me just clear it. So I have a cat urls.txt. Okay, I have a txt file. Let's say these are the URLs you have collected after doing after subdomain enumeration and after using GAU or webback URL. Okay, fine. Or you have just find the subdomain. Now, after fuzzing, you want to just use Fuzzly to check for if there is any backup file is there or any other file is there. Okay, how you can use Fuzzly? So first of all, you need to install Fuzzly. That is easy to install. After that, you need to use it. So our target is how we can use Fuzzly to find any look for any kind of backup files. There is nothing. It's too easy. You can, if you can see, just go to the repository, okay, of the file, you will get to see it. But let's just keep normal with cat urls.txt and we can pipe it down with Fasuli and you will be able to use it. Okay. So if there is any backup file is there at the endpoint of play.google.com or any facebook.com or twitter.com or yandex.com, it will give +sign and it will try to look for result in that way. So this is something you can definitely use to check for any kind of backup source file of your target. So this is another one I showed you guys. So it will take time. Generally, I know there is find it, but this is how you can use. Okay, so next I am coming back. Yes, how to use VirusTotal for recon. Normal, we know we have used VirusTotal in different purposes, but this is something you can abuse it. Okay, so go to the VirusTotal and if you have your domain, just give the domain. And if you got an API key from that domain, give the API key. And it will give you some subdomain and IPs and some critical endpoint, including some of the endpoint where you might get some kind of hash file. You can also use VirusTotal to get for subdomains and domain, including some vhost. If you are trying to find any sensitive file on your target, then also you can use VirusTotal, okay, by just searching the file. So these are some of the links you can try in your system to look for, okay, to like how you can use VirusTotal for recon. So now these are some of the general recon techniques what I have showed you guys. But let's see about how in a real target we can do. Like people don't talk about cloud recon. Okay, people define generally any kind of vulnerabilities are there on our target. We perform any kind of general recon. We find subdomains, we find URLs, we try to find general all of these vulnerabilities, falana dimkana. But we generally tend to lose some of the key aspect of vulnerabilities. Like if any bug is there or if any vulnerability is there related to the cloud service provider, okay, of our target. Like if our target is running on AWS, are there any open S3 bucket? If our target is running on Azure, are there any open blob bucket? S3 bucket is everyone, I think, no. At this point, a lot of season bug hunter has no S3 bucket. But do you know something exists known as blob bucket for Azure? And that is something I want to show in one of my client. I have taken permission. So I'm going to show you guys just how to find this type of things and how you can use recon just by basic. Like if you have by using a basic recon, you can find this vulnerability. So basically we have a target I think it's a Neura SIM. Yeah. So this is a target. This is one of my clients. Okay. So he has this company has appeared in Shark Tank India. And so what has happened to them? You can see this is the general site, right? Nothing too much fancy is there, right? So if we can use Vapalizer, what we can see? There is React, there is Lucid, there is Tailwind. Are you guys seeing this part, right? Okay, you guys can see this. And there is parity. There is nothing too much is being detected by Vapalizer, right? Even if we refresh the site, and then again we can use Vapalizer, we will get something like Next.js, GSAP, but nothing too much serious. But we need to have another one extension. And that extension is this uDomain flag. And this will tell you if your target, like it is hosted on AWS, Azure, or GCP. And we can get to know it through this ASN number. Again, the description of the ASN. And here the description is telling us it is running on Microsoft Corp MSN as a blog. So we can take a wild guess that this site is actually on Azure. Okay. Now this is running on Azure. So after we have identified this site is running on Azure, we might able to try to get check if there is a blob bucket. Now S3 bucket is for AWS, blob bucket is for Azure. So if we just go to the control U, okay, just check the page source and read, you will see this URL. Okay, so this particular image alloco.webp is stored on the blob.core.windows.net. Now what we can see from here, can we try to find like is there any kind of blob bucket is present on in our target? Like is the blob bucket is open? Like we know like S3 bucket sometime directory listing is present on S3 bucket where we can get to see if the S3 bucket is an open access, we will get to see all of the files which are stored in the S3 bucket. So can we see it in the blob and how we can see it? If it is open, how we can get to know if it is open and how we can see it. So there is a very beautiful app. I am just sharing my full screen. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand. There is a Azure tool, okay, known as Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Again, I am telling you, this is my client. So don't you, of course, there is nothing, the main part has been secured, just this part is already out. I have requested them for my demonstration and for my classes purposes. Though the main thing is completely secure, but still, if anything is there, don't try to exploit it. Otherwise, you will land in trouble. And also, I will land in trouble. So here, okay, you can see blob container, and this is our target cloud, the blob name. Okay, Neurasim, if you can see, and actually this is exposed. Okay, so how you can generally try to find it? Normally, just come to here and try to just give the copy your blob.code.windows.net, the generally the domain. Okay, just copy it. And what you can do when you download Microsoft Azure Explorer, let me just close it and open it once again so that I can show you. There is an option connect to an Azure resource, okay, or attach a resource. You can also use this. And here, if you are working on a blob, you can try to click on a blob. Okay, connection string, shared exit, account name and key. We'll just click on the next. Display name. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Select connection method. Yeah, this is the option. Anonymously. If you to check if your blob contain any public access, just click on anonymously and click on next and give the display URL, or you can also put it here. The URL is missing a protocol. The URL is missing a path to the resource. Okay, path to the resource means name of the container. That is asking. So the name of the container is Neurasim container. So we need to give the container name. This is the container name actually. Okay, and if you just click on next, and if you click on connect, you can see active blobs. Okay, so these are all the active blobs which are present, right? So this is the main issues. Okay, you will find like, yeah, this is public access is there on our target, and you can see all of these things are in public access, as you can see. So a lot of WebAPI file, lot of image, though there is nothing too much sensitive is there, but yeah, but still it's a kind of, say, you can say a directory listing on Azure, you can think of. Okay, so let's just come back. So this is one of the how you can find vulnerabilities in Azure, and these are some of the ways I described. Okay, now next thing we're gonna talk about, let me just share the screen once again. Is the business logic flaws. Okay, so what is business logic flaw? So basically, an attacker can changes the item quantity parameter in the HTTP request from 1 to -1 or any kind of massive integer. So basically, you can see, you have seen in many things that payment gateway bypass, right? You have seen people has changes value from 1 to -1. All those kind of vulnerability in the e-commerce side generally falls under the business logic clause. Okay, so if you are changing value from of a thing from 1 to -1, and if you are able to get that item for free in any e-commerce site or Flipkart or any Misho or Amazon, those kind of vulnerabilities. Okay, so generally there are three attack pattern. So either you change anything from one positive quantity to one negative quantity, eitherly, or you can use the hidden application form field. Like you can pass the price from 300 to 10. You just change the price. You also, some people tell it price tampering. Okay, if you are able to get some other people invoice through any kind of IDOR or broken access control, like other people's order number or order value, those vulnerabilities. Also, if you are able to change a value from, like if you are shopping on some foreign sites, okay, like let's say on any kind of like Walmart, and Walmart is an American based company, so everything is in dollar, right? If you can change the dollar to INR, and if something costs $10, and by changing the currency to INR, if you can able to buy it at 10 INR, which is a much low rate, if you can get those type of vulnerabilities also, those also comes under the business logic flaws. Okay, now we will be using a normal Portswiggle lab to see how, what are the business logic flaws there and how you can use it. So let's just come to the another tab. Uh, oh, and we'll just go to the lab. Okay, so let's solve let's solve this one. And let's just access the lab. So I just forgot to see what I need to do. The IT said the lab doesn't adequately validate an user input. So you can exploit a logic flaw to buy items from an unintended price. Okay, so it is telling you we need to buy the leather jacket. That is what we need to do. But our account balance might be 0. I think that is the thing I am guessing. So we will log in to the credential that has been given to us. So yeah, we have $100 of credit. Now let's just go to the home. And we can see the leather jacket details is price is 100, 300, 1337. But we don't have stored credit that much. So there is no way we can able to get this thing, right? So what we can do, I'm just opening my box suit. Let me quickly open my box. And also let me just share the whole screen for that reason. Okay. So let's just put it in the test and open our proxy and reload the site. After reloading, if we just go to our proxy, we can see our product. Now you can see also we have the account data. Now let's try to buy it to the edit to the cart and let's try to buy it. Let's see what happens. It is saying not enough stored credit, right? That it is being told to us. Now if we go to the proxy and if we see the post cart request, we can see 302 found. This is the price. And if we see the checkout option, we can see there is a CSRF token. Okay, fine. Now this one, again, this is the option of post cart. Let's just send it to the, because this one has the price 13370, right? I will send it to the repeater. Okay. Now, if we can change this value, like let's say I will change the value 13370 to 1. And if I send the request, okay, and if I refresh the page, and I can see the price has changed to $1. Okay, and now I have 2 products for just $1. Now I can place order. And you can see this is one of the example of how you can change something, okay, to buy anything at a lower price. Now this is a lab, but I have a very good write-up from 3 to 4 years ago. At that time, Yakub didn't used to have a bug bounty program, okay, and I had a good vulnerability on Yakub actually. So which I have actually made write-up. Medium. Let me show you. From here I will get it. Just go to my profile. Yeah, this one. So if you read this write-up, you will see how I have used business logic flaws to buy anything for free. So let me tell you what is the vulnerability which was there. So here you can see there are two products, right? One costs 499 and one costs 998. Two slippers were there. Now you can see that there is a quantity option +2, right? And what I did, with the help of word proxy, I changed the quantity from 2 to -2. And after that, what happened? The total value becomes 0 because the +2 balance the -2 of another product. And total value, that's why becoming 0. Now after that, if I add another product for like 399, I could have get 3 product, actually not 6 product for price of only one product. So for price of only one product, I was able to get total 6 product only by just paying 349. And what I have changed, I have just changed the value of quantity from +2, I have changed it to -2, and thus it had completely negate out another offer. Okay, so not only I was able to get the value, you can see at -998, the total value was there. But also I was able to get everything called free. And after that, I have to pay just only one value, okay, to get anything. So at that time, Backup didn't had anything, so I just reported it. And there's nothing too much I got. But anyway, this was the vulnerability again. It was there, right? So yeah. Now, another kind of vulnerability is there. So one thing I would like to tell that not only business logic vulnerability is not always a vulnerability in e-commerce side. Either you are tampering with product or whether you are tampering any kind of parameter and you are getting something. Okay, it is actually more than just price tampering, more than just price manipulation, more than just quantity manipulation, all those vagera vagera. It's something more than that. Like if you find, let's say, if you can able to log in, okay, and you are able to get some, like let's say your target is your xyz.com, okay, and you are able to create an account without having mail access of xyz.com. So you are able to log in as something like employee@xyz.com, and if you are able to create an account by that kind of email, okay, then also it's classified as a business logic vulnerability. So there is a very common misconception I have seen that people think that logic vulnerabilities are just the price tampering vulnerabilities or any kind of e-commerce product based vulnerabilities, but it's not that. So you can even change something, any kind of logical flaw, which generally AI won't be able to find. Those all come under this. Okay. What I need to see more. Let's come back. Next is the race condition. Now, what is a race condition vulnerability? Like what we can say a race condition. So race condition, you can think of a flaw which occurs when a multiple threads or processes generally try to access a kind of shared data. And when they try to access a shared data, the system outcome relies heavily on those unpredictable timings. And as a result, when multiple requests are going in a short amount of time to the server can't process it. And as a result of which, things are becoming unpredictable, data is becoming corrupted, and application is behaving not as it's supposed to. So you can think of it as a digital wallet application which is processing a $50 gift card redemption request, right? Now the normal flow is request 1, it is checking balance if it has $50 or not. If it is yes, then it is taking a time to deduct any kind of balance and issues, right? This is the general flow. But what thing can go wrong if an attacker sent 10 identical redemption requests at the exact same millisecond? Then what happened? A multi-threaded server might process the check balance step. So if he's saying 10 identical balance check, so every time it is given $50. Okay, so it is finally when all of this $50 is going to check it at the same time, you can see they are deducting the balance from $50 into $150. Even now the $50 is just a one gift card, but if you are giving it multiple time at the same time, it is turning into $150 gift card, and the total discount become $150 less. So we will see one such vulnerabilities also in our course figure. But before that, I also want to mention you that this type of vulnerability are not only there in whether you are returning a gift card or not. Like you have seen like the Facebook likes or Instagram likes. So this type of vulnerabilities are also abused in those places. So from one account, if you are able to give 10 likes to a certain person's post, but all the likes are coming from only one account, not 10 account. Okay. So you are one person and you have only one account in Instagram, and to your friends liking, you have put 10 likes with just one account by putting the request in repeater and sending all of the requests simultaneously. And due to their race condition error, things that happened there. So that flow also comes under the race condition. Okay. So this is one of the stimulation I have seen of the race condition simulator of the bank withdrawal exploit, as you can see. Now let's go to one of the labs and we can have an understanding. So I'll just sorry. Okay. So this is a race condition if we need to work. So what it is saying that the lab's purchasing flow contains a race condition that enables you to buy this leather jacket also at unintended price. So we can try to do this. So let's just access the lab and let's just cross it. I think this is a new lab actually. Okay, so there is a promo code already being told to us. This is prom020. And do we have anything? Yeah, we have a login account. It is given winner and Peter. And we need to buy something. But before that, one thing I will do, I will clear the history from here. Otherwise, it becomes. Okay. Now, I have $50 credit and I have a 20% checkout code. So I'll go to the my home. Okay, I have a login. Yeah, I have login. So yeah. And I think, yeah, I have getting my requests. Let's see. First, I will try to test. So first of all, I am trying to bind this in order to check how the flow is there. Okay, I will add the coupon. I have got the discount and I am placing the order. So you can see we have successfully bought this order, okay, for only $12 by giving the discount. Now we need to examine our cart, like how this particular discount coupon request has actually been processed. So for that reason, we'll go to the cart and we'll check the post request actually where we actually use the coupon. Okay, here is the coupon request. You can see prompt 20, and we can see there is nothing. There is no, though there is a CSRF token, but in the response there is no, there is no any kind of verification, or there is no that it can be used only one time. It is just giving the response as coupon applied, and this can actually help us. Now, like if we try to use this coupon once again, we can try to see, okay, like to check if we can use things like the coupon already applied, those kind of thing. Let's see, and let's add one more account to the cart. Just go to the home. Let's see, just put this is only to the cart to check, and I will just use this coupon to check. Okay, it is giving me one discount. I will use it once again. Here you can see it is telling this coupon already applied. Okay, so this is the problem. So that means we can use this coupon only one time. But what if we can do it for one more time? Like let's go to this actual part where we have first applied the coupon, and we are sending this to the repeater. And I'll be just removing it, the coupon now, because since I don't want it to be get applied once, right? And what I will do, this is the custom action panel, I guess. What we can do, I will group this request. I will send this request once more. Again send to the repeater. And what I will do is I will group the request once again. Okay. So like there is a way to group it request. I think this was the way. Add tab to the group. Group 1, create. Add tab to the group 1. Fine. So we have direct one group request, and let's see if we can send this request. So if I send coupon applied, now what we can see, we have this promo applied for twice. See, it has come down to this much. So if we can group the request of number of times, we can actually do it. So this is one of the very important way. So grouping I am showing you because even if you're using part community edition, there also the grouping is available, right? So this is the process. So what I will do, I will use this particular grouping thing more than one time. So just go to the proxy, send this again to the repeater, and group it once again. Yeah, add to the group 1. Okay, again go to the proxy, send this to the repeater, and again group it. Go to the proxy again, send this to the repeater, and group it once again. Okay, so now we have 6 times of grouping. So we have now 6 into 2. So we have got 20% discount by 6 times. Okay, so I will group it one more again so that it will be better. Like at least with the 6th time, it will have a good options. Or there is also options like duplicating tabs. I don't know like the duplicating option is there or not. Yeah, we can also duplicate tabs also. So let's give it like we have given 6. So let's give it like 12 more times. Okay. So what we can do now, we can put all of this to the sequence. Create tab group, I think group 1. Or what we can do is like we can try to send the request in sequence also. That is also we can do. Like let's send the request as sequence. That will be good. So if we now we can see our total value is 106. Okay. I think we need to change this group value. I need to remove it. Let me just change the whole sheet thing. I need to change it. Let's just change it. And we will using the separator once directly. That is the better way of doing. So we will send this to the repeater once again by removing. And what I will do is we'll just duplicate it. Okay. So I'll duplicate options. Repeat. Okay. Now we have 19 duplicated tabs. And we can send the group in sequence. Let's see how what is the credit looks like. Total is still this much. Okay, we need to go once again. We need to create more connections. This one really is giving me trouble. Okay, we can see. Now when I give it, the total become 15. So what I did, I just sent all of the group in parallel. And now we have the total credit is only $15. Now if we can place order, we can see it got placed. So few thing I was doing one thing wrong. I was just using the single connection as the sequence. But sequence means after 1, 2, 3, all will going separately. So that's why it was not working. So only 2 groups were working. So you need to send the group all in the parallel in a single packet attack, and it will give you all of the discount. So all with the group, so the promo 20 can be used 21 times, 25 times I have used. Okay, and all the requests grown directly in parallel. That means in the one same time. And that's why we were able to get a large jacket which cost under 1337 at just only $15. And that is how the race condition generally happens. Okay, so this was about the race condition attack, I guess. And so whenever you are hunting bugs or you are checking, you need to verify your data, because some data might be are intended and there won't be any bug there. And so if you are getting any invalid report, so don't get angry, because this is something always it's a part of hunting and things doesn't go as you plan always. So at a lot of time you will get those errors, you will get lot of duplicates, invalid. Okay, so yeah, try to craft good exploit and crafting, and you will get a third-party request also. And make sure be humble with the program and don't message constant to the team. Last thing I will also show you, that is the how to create a good report, because report writing was there. So this is something you can see an example how to create a good pen test report. So you can see this is the XYZ consulting name, and after that we can create a complete vulnerability assessment and pen test report. So first of all, you need to give the client name. If it's a web application project, if it's a API project, you need to tell it. After that, you need to specify the date, what document number, the company under which you are preparing the pen test. After that, there will be an executive summary. Okay, because what you have done, that your target is an API, it's a target is a web server, the timeline in which you have done the pen test. Okay, how many high vulnerabilities, how many medium vulnerabilities, how many low vulnerabilities you have identified. After that, you need to give the vulnerability overview. You need to add a chart. This is the basics. Like at least you need to do this when you submit any kind of report. A basic vulnerability, a pie chart, or it's a bar graph type. Okay, and you need to break it down, like how many vulnerabilities are. Again, they are high severity. What class of vulnerability each of this is, and their respective CVSS score. Okay, then you need to tell what is the scope of your target. Like if the web application is there, if any API is there, you need to write it in your scope. Then you need to give a good methodology, like what methodology you have followed according to the standard, like WASP, NISTSP, if there is in PTS, what are the steps you have involved, like the recon, fuzzing, authentication, what different kind of tools you have involved. All you need to list down. And after that, when you are submitting any one vulnerability, you need to list what is the vulnerability. So first of all, you need to give the name of the vulnerability. So this was the vulnerability name you can see in modality. And then you need to give the vulnerability category. So this is an access control vulnerability. After you need to tell what severity it is, high, what is the CVSS score it is, what is the WASP reference model, what is the affected endpoint. Okay, you need to tell the endpoint. Okay, this endpoint is there. After that, you need to give a proper description of the vulnerability. Then you need to give a step to reproduce, impact, and recommendation. The whole thing is for pen test, but this actual part is for if you are reporting any kind of bug in case of bug boundaries. Okay, so Even if it's a vulnerability category, you need to list severity, CVSS score, description, step to reproduce, and if there is a POC, you can directly put it in the step to reproduce part. If you have a video, you can do it separately, provide it. Then you need to give the proper impact and you need to give a recommendation. Okay, same in case of pen test, you will have to do for all of the vulnerabilities you have found, and you have to list all of them down step by step. But make sure this report is very much important. Like when you are reporting any bugs, things need to be clear, things need to be concise, and so that the person on the other end need to understand what vulnerability you have reported. Okay. So all of the vulnerabilities I have listed in the reports. As you can see, these are just the proof of concept of some of the reports. And after that, at the end, when you're submitting a pen test report, you need to give a conclusion. Okay. That, yeah. So the security assessment, like the how many high vulnerabilities there and how many one medium size vulnerability. And you need to say the conclusion. Okay. And after that, if you are in a pen test, you need to provide who has authorized the report. Okay. So your signature need to be there. So that's it, guys. So if you have any doubt throughout, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Participants, we are up for the doubts. Please drop in them in the live chat.
Just can you drop me the link of the live chat so that I can see?
Sure, sir. The first doubt is, please summarize the race condition.
Uh, race condition is the doubt.
Yes, sir. The first doubt is, please summarize the race condition.
Okay. So what race condition actually is? So basically, race condition is nothing. Basically, what you need to do in race condition is, so let's say you have a target. Let's say there is a Facebook like option, right? And you are giving like. So from one account, generally you can give one like, right? But if there is a race condition vulnerability, from one account you can give 10 likes. From one account, not from 10 accounts. So from one account you can give 10 like. How it is possible? Generally, when you are putting like on anyone's photo, it is going in 1 second. Now you have clicked 10 times on that photo, right? You have clicked 10 times on that photo, and all those 10 requests you have captured in the buffer. And you are sending all the 10 requests simultaneously. So it is not going sequentially, one by one. That's the thing I was doing. And that was the wrong thing I was doing, right? You need to send all of those 10 requests parallelly. And when all of the requests are hitting at the same time, you will see 100 requests, 10 like requests are hitting at the same point from one particular person. Then your target is actually thinking, then the Facebook or Instagram is actually thinking that all these likes are actually coming from different accounts. And that's why the race condition arises. So that person is getting 10 likes from one single person, okay, not from 10 different persons. So our target is getting 10 likes from one single person, from one single account, but still his or her total number of likes has increased to 10. So this is something known as race condition. That is what a race condition in a simple language is. Clear?
Yes. Everyone, the QR is live. You can attempt the quiz. Side by side, the doubt session is also open till the time. You can continue dropping your doubts in the comment section. sir is with us for a few more minutes. Sir, do business logic have multiple flaws?
Do business logic have multiple flaws? I didn't get the question. What it means?
Like there might be different methods in the business logic.
Yeah, there are a lot of methods. That's what I told. Like
Yeah.
business logic is not just thing we have. Like not just like just checking the card product or not just parameter tampering. There are a lot can be anything which can is broken in the logic. It can be business logic flaws. Like it can be either in the form of coupon code. It can be either in the form of like parameter tampering. It can either in the form of like just logging with a different account, like admin's account. Those are all actually comes under business logic flaws.
Okay. Next doubt is like related to the race condition one. If we send many requests, then wouldn't be considered as DDoS attack method.
The DDoS attack is different because we are hitting the applications. If the application is showing 502 gateway after the result, then we can think of it as an application level DOS. Otherwise, if it is getting impacted and it is getting like the likes is getting increasing or the card value is getting increasing, then it is considered as the race condition. But if it's hitting a 502 gateway, then it will be an application level DOS.
Next question is how can burp suits repeater single packet attack feature be used to exploit a race condition in a code figure lab to bypass a rate limit and brute force a user's password? Lot of
Those are there in the labs. You can see the lab manual.
yeah.
You can't.
Dropping the link for the QR. Just a second, Rosa. One more important announcement. Good news, I guess. Tomorrow we will be having an extra session, a bonus session for you guys, where management team and the founders of the organizations will be joining and sharing their insights over the uh, course and all. Okay, the timing would be most probably 6 p.m. IST, but we will let you know in the group itself. Make sure to join us in the live session. You can have all the doubts cleared, have a discussion, have a direct discussion with the uh, team, and share the suggestions and all. Okay. Next question, sir. How we can use Burpsuit Pro, its license?
Just it's you can use the cracked version, but I don't recommend. You can buy it, bro.
Yeah. Uh, Else you can use our hack tools. Most of the premium features are there. Don't go for the cracked version. You don't know when you will get hacked.
Exactly. I think it's everything is completed.
Yeah. Report and PDF will be shared in the group itself, and the details for the next tomorrow session will also be dropped as soon as possible. Labs will be coming live tomorrow. And any other doubts?
As a suggestion, how to begin as a career in bug
Yes,
bounty.
sir.
You can start with the VDPs, then you can go to RVDPs, report to government, and then you start with any platform. That will be the case. VDP to RVDP to hackathon. That is the case. Start with reporting bugs. Career is
Okay.
tough.
True. So, guys, we are closing with a doubt session now. Thank you so much, sir, for this lovely session, insightful talk.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. The labs will be open tomorrow. The time is up. Thank you guys for joining us. See you tomorrow. Thank you.